Guess what? I am getting a new greenhouse today. A real one this time. Not just plastic stretched over a metal frame. And this is something I have dreamed about for years. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Lisa. And I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am for this greenhouse. We ordered a Garvee Sunroom from Amazon. It ran me about $289 or so. It's an 8x12 and it is absolutely beautiful. So the first thing we did was we opened the boxes. One was full of nothing but the hardware and the other was filled with all of the panels, polycarbonate panels. We looked over the directions and realized this wasn't going to be as complicated to assemble as we had feared. The directions looked easy to follow, and thankfully there were pictures. It looked pretty simple, but it also looked like it was definitely going to be a two-person job. All of the pieces were labeled with a number and letter, so we started pulling them out and putting them in order just to make things easier as we went. And while we did that, Mittens, the best mouser on this side of the Maumee River, enjoyed a nice bath in the warm sunlight. She deserves it because she is such a great mouser, and she knows it. Even the screws and bolts that came with it were numbered and lettered, so that was really nice. So this is the first piece that we're putting together, and let me just tell you, at this moment I was feeling a little overwhelmed. Having a real greenhouse, being able to sell really good plants and vegetables and flowers, that's something I've dreamed about for a very, very, very long time. It felt like the pieces of a dream coming together, and honestly I got a little emotional, but in a good way. I was just so super excited. And as I watched him putting all these screws and bolts in place, I kept thinking to myself, is this real? Is this actually happening? I just kind of had to breathe in the moment. It was kind of just surreal for me. These are basically the pieces for like the base, the part that's going to sit on the ground. And really my main job was just looking at the directions and getting all the pieces together for the next step. I helped with some of the assembly as well, but I just figured it would save time and energy to have everything waiting and ready. So I would read to the next step and see exactly what we were going to put together. But I did help assemble a few things. Once we got the individual pieces put together, we just snapped the frame together. It was very simple. And I thought I wanted it in one place, which was over here, kind of more off a little bit from the garden. But once we got it over there, the slope was just really a big slope, and I didn't really think it would work there as well as I initially thought it would. So we ended up moving it and putting it where it is now. And then Vince screwed everything together and we leveled it. It's still on a slope, but it's not nearly as big of a slope. So he just put like some bricks under the corners and just to make everything level. And then once we got it leveled and in the place that we wanted it, we started putting it all together. And it went together really easily. I was really surprised at how easy it went together. The one thing we didn't do, which I wish we would have done, was take the film off the panels before we put them in. My bad. Oops. Live and learn, right? So just future reference, if you do one of these, I would strongly suggest taking the film off first. Vincent, he actually mentioned it, but I said I was worried about the panels getting scratched during assembly while we were putting it together. But really, I should have listened to him because it was a pain to try to get them off after it was assembled. But you know, don't tell him I said that though. That aside though, it was really super simple. It came with the little tools and a couple pairs of gloves. We didn't really use the tools, but it was nice that they were included. The gloves we didn't use either, but now I have 2 pairs of pretty nice gardening gloves. The sun goes down here pretty early still this time of year, and we got as much done as we could before it just really got too cold and dark to work on it. So we just basically got the main frame up on the first night, and then we went in. The next day, Vincent actually went outside and finished assembling the frame by himself, which I was really impressed with. He didn't tell me he was going to do that though, and so I wasn't able to film any of it. It was done by the time I got outside to help him. There's still a lot to do though, so I jumped in and I started helping brace the inside. These braces were really easy to put in as well. You see, I don't even need any tools for them or anything. And Vincent would measure them and made sure everything was lined up really good. And they go on both sides of the upper panels. And, you know, it's really simple to go in, and we just put them in. It didn't take long at all. And then we got the gutter system put on, which is a cute little gutter system. It has these little black things where you can like hook some hoses to it or something. And we had to go get the grandkids that day, and it was cold out. So we had to wait for a stretch where we were going to have warm days, a couple in a row. Because, you know, the weather is just crazy right now. One day it's 70, the next is 35. So we had to wait till we had a couple of days in a row that were warm so we could glue all the panels down. And so then we were finally able to do that. That was pretty simple too. I mean, I'm not the one that did it, but it looks pretty simple. We picked up this adhesive over at Menards as well. And then the chickens ended up going down into the woods where we don't like them to go. We don't have a rooster, so Vincent has to play rooster. Did I tell you he's a rooster and a chicken wrangler? Yeah, he's a guy of many, many talents. So yeah, he ended up going through and just gluing everything down. And it came out really nice. And then, of course, the windstorm came through. I think the whole country got hit with the windstorm on that particular weekend. Um, we got hit with, they said 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I think it was a little bit more. I think the sustained winds was like 40 miles an hour or something. And it blew out like 5 panels on my greenhouse. And I was inside watching the baby, so I wasn't able to come outside and chase them down or anything. We were actually able to find all of them but one, and one of my vents got banged up pretty bad. We also had a bunch of roof damage, a bunch of shingles came off. At one point, I thought for sure the wind was going to blow the roof right off the house. The patio door started groaning. This little thing here was on my chimney. It's made out of steel. That's my gutter that it ripped off, only part way, thankfully. And of course, just branches everywhere. So it took us an entire afternoon to get all of this cleaned up. And Vincent ended up adding on some straps, and we ran over to Menards and we just bought a cheapy piece of plastic paneling to put on where the one we lost went. And so it's glued and duct taped. The little vent that got banged up, it's glued and duct taped as well. But I thought he did a pretty good job with the repairs. And those straps were a great idea. So once we got all the repairs done and Vincent added those little straps on, I still wanted to, finish out my vision. I was still really happy. I was a little sad that we lost a panel, but it was all right. And I just wanted to really finish out my vision. So I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any grass that was going to grow up along the edges, because I know Vincent would want to weed whack it. And I was afraid he might cut a panel with his weed whacker. So I used some extra roof shingles and some extra bricks that I just had laying around, and I edged it, and then I filled it with dirt all the way around. And it didn't really take long to get all of that done. I did it all the way around, so 3 sides. I like to do the front, but I need to find some more bricks. These were just extra bricks that we had. You know how sometimes that happens. You dig in some old grass and there's bricks laying there. So that's where these bricks came from. This dirt Vincent dug up from an area down by our woods, so it's really good dirt. And I just filled it in, and I did the same on this side. And I also too, I wanted to make sure the dirt was deep enough that if I wanted to plant flowers, it would have dirt to live in, and not hit the shingles. But yeah, I thought it came out really cute when I finished. Now on the inside, I did not want grass to grow in there either. So I laid down a fabric weed barrier, and I'm gonna cover it with mulch. And I know gravel would have been more ideal, but honestly it was a little out of my budget. So for now I'm just using mulch. I just don't want grass growing, that's all. The fabric roll I used was 3 feet wide by 50 feet long, and I think it was right around $8 over at Menards. I laid 3 strips of it, and I ended up using 6 bags of mulch that I also got at Menards, and they were like $2 a bag. They were on sale. and that's what I use to cover the floor with. Eventually I'm gonna replace it with gravel, but you know, this will get me started, and really that's what's really important to me. I want to get some seeds going before spring. My goal is to have my little store open by Mother's Day weekend. So I need to have some plants ready, and this will work. This will do the trick. I also put these rubber mats down, and I'm hoping that because they're black and rubber, they'll absorb heat throughout the day. And it also gives me a little walkway for inside as well. And then I just used the last of that mulch from the last bag I used inside to cover this dirt up outside. I have ideas at this point. I'm not real sure what they are. I know what they are now, but at this point, I'm not real sure what my ideas are. But I know I want to do something, so I went ahead and just covered all that dirt with mulch. And any weeds that might be in that dirt, I'm hoping this mulch will suppress from growing. So between the shingles on the bottom and the mulch on top, hopefully not too many weeds will take root. And then I'm just going to put a couple of my shelves in place. I will be adding more, but right now that's all I have. And then I also have this little heater. It's a little fireplace heater. It's obviously an interior heater. And one of these days, I'm going to replace it with, you know, a nice little greenhouse heater. But it was given to me, and it works. The thermostat works on it, and it works really well. So that's what I'm going to be using for now. I did end up having to take the front casters off though. That way it could sit evenly on the cinder blocks. So this is what I'm going to use when the nights get real cold, when, you know, they drop below 60 or whatever. And then it'll give a nice little ambiance as well with the fire. So I think it'll work. I think it'll work just fine. I'm going to clean up outside, get all of this stuff picked up that I didn't end up using. I got my step put in place. Got that leveled up real good. I kept banging my foot on that little piece right there of the frame, and I thought maybe if I have a big old step, I won't bang my foot so much. So I got that leveled. And then I was actually able to start planting some of my seeds, which I was really excited about. It feels like a huge accomplishment to me. I'm really excited about this. I'm really hoping that it works out in, you know, my little greenhouse. I'm hoping that I'll be able to sell a lot of really good quality stuff. I'm using organic soil and heirloom seeds, and you know, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's what it looked like when I got done. And then I ended up adding a little fairy garden stuff. I thought, oh, that would look so cute. So I did end up adding a bunch of my fairy garden stuff. It's just stuff that I've had for a long time. I've kind of collected them with the intention of making a fairy garden somewhere, but I really could never find the right place. So I just kind of kept this stuff put up until I found the right place, and I did around my greenhouse. So I'll be showing you some of that here in just a few minutes. But this doing this right here, making these little planters, was so exciting for me. My heart was just like pounding. I just can't even tell you how exciting and happy I am. I think Vincent is the only person in this world that has ever really cared about my dreams. He has made so many of my like bucket listed dreams come true. It's just unbelievable. So here's a shot of my fairy garden stuff. I just want to say thanks a lot for taking the time to watch my video today, guys. If you enjoyed it, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. And I'm going to go for now. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.